So why do you still have clutter? We have talked for a while now about why it's bad for you, about how important your environment is, and yet you still have clutter. And I think that it's really important today that we talk about the things that really ultimately are holding you back. And it isn't that you don't have a system. It isn't that you don't know how. Let's get into that because it is much more than you think. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Robyn. I help overwhelmed people simplify their lives through organization, productivity, and creating an environment where they can thrive. Now grab your tea and let's go. So when I am talking to people, in particular when I'm coaching people or we're doing our course, we always start with why we have clutter in the first place. And ultimately it comes down to a lot of things like childhood, some of the Swedish death cleaning instincts, and on and on and on. But for people who really struggle with letting go of things and who just really find that they, no matter what, reach a roadblock when they are decluttering and they just cannot create that environment that is serving them, there might be something else at play, and you might be surprised at how easy it actually is to overcome if you really take the steps I'm going to go over. So a lot of people don't realize just how much their clutter is impacting them, and I'm just going to quickly go over that because I think you probably know that clutter is impacting you negatively. I myself really was struggling with clutter when I was finding that it made it so that I could not relax. I would come home from a long day at the emergency room and I would just feel like I either need to start cleaning or I would sit down because I was just too tired, but I would look around and just be burdened by the mess I was seeing. Now, I made the decision that I was going to declutter when I actually made the connection that my environment was not serving me. However, a lot of people are not making that decision, and that is one of the most important things that you need to do when you want to declutter. Now, a lot of people think, they look around and they go, yeah, I'm going to declutter my house. I don't like this mess. But the problem is they're not actually deciding that they have to choose themselves over their stuff. They're not looking around and recognizing that they have not put themselves first. Have you been putting yourself first? Have you been deciding that you are going to keep this pile of things instead of choosing your own happiness because this pile of things represents something to you that you feel that these things can help? Like, for example, maybe it is a hobby that you want to take up, but this is a hobby that you have not started. And you are telling yourself, no, I'm going to do this hobby. And when I do this hobby and I am good at this thing, that will make me happy. Are you trying to make yourself happy through external things? Are you trying to always look for the new thing to buy? Are you researching what kind of car you want to buy? Or even what kind of shirt you want to buy? There was one summer when I was in nursing school, and I remember I was between semesters, and I don't know why, and this was before I started decluttering, but I was looking for something to make me happy at that time. And I felt like that thing would be a new lunchbox. And so I spent 2 months choosing a new lunch bag for myself. I wanted one that held enough things. I wanted it to be able to hold my salad and all of these things because I knew that if I had this lunch bag, I would be bringing the healthy things to nursing school, and that would help me have more control over my life. So I really spent a lot of time researching this lunch bag. I spent the whole summer. Every day I would spend some time on this. Obviously not everything, but at the end of it, I ordered one. I don't use it. It didn't even work that well. And ultimately, even if it did work that well and I loved it, it wouldn't have been worth the time that I put into it. I was trying to find a way to fill whatever lack of happiness I had at that time by thinking that this one particular thing was going to make me happy. Maybe it is, like I said, you're trying to start a hobby. You're like, you know what? I'm going to learn piano. So you have a keyboard sitting there, but you're not spending the time to actually learn the keyboard. And you have in your mind, when I have this, I will have this hobby and this will fulfill me. So you have all of these things that you are hoping will make you happy, but ultimately they aren't. And it's the same thing with your house. You have items that you don't want to declutter because often we feel like we are letting go of the idea of a future self that just isn't there. And we want to make ourselves happy by trying to reach the goal of being that future self, of having that particular hobby. When in reality, you aren't doing that. You are putting your happiness aside because you are trying to reach the goal of a future self instead of making the person that you are happy right now. Ultimately, you are not putting yourself first. Even if we are throwing ourselves into our family and we are trying to make our family happy and we are driving our kids to this game and that appointment and all of these things, we are putting ourselves last, just like we are putting ourselves last when we choose to live in a cluttered environment. When we are choosing our things over ourselves, when we are choosing to not let go of the potential future ideal self by decluttering these things that aren't serving us in that just in case situation. Now, I have gone over the Swedish death cleaning of, the clutter instinct where we have things around us and it makes us feel secure, or the hoarding instinct where we like to have things just in case and we have things in boxes so we know ultimately it makes us feel better. Or of course, there's the fear of death, which in this situation, I don't know if that applies as much because I think that for the people who really struggle letting go of things and they haven't made the actual decision that they are going to prioritize themselves, they aren't even thinking of the fear of death that time is passing them by because they are paralyzed to make any kind of decision, to make any kind of step for the future. So perhaps this is you, and what you ultimately need to do is make the decision. You need to decide that you are going to put yourself first, that you are not going to put the idea of who you could be or the things that you might be keeping just in case, or always driving other people around or putting others first instead of putting yourself first. You can still do those things. You can still have your hobbies. You can still have your family. You can still do all of those. But what you need to do is stop distracting yourself. You need to sit down and you need to look around and you need to say, no, I am no longer going to put myself last. I am going to choose an environment that is serving me. You live once in this life. Take it from me as a nurse in an emergency department. You live once. You do not want to waste your time in an environment that is stealing from you, that is not serving from you. So if you have been struggling to get that decluttered home that you want, and you have tried the books and the videos and the courses, maybe what you really need is to decide for yourself and to say, I commit to me that I will be making a change and that I will no longer be putting myself last because I am putting myself first. And part of putting myself first is living in an environment that is serving me. And I am not going to have the idea of a future me holding myself back, or by me distracting myself with my family or others by holding myself back. I am going to put myself in a home that serves me. Now, if you want some more information on how to get started with decluttering, I hope this has helped you. Click this video. I will see you in the next one. I'm sorry for the tough love. I will talk with you later. Bye.